Welcome to the whitest house. Slave souls haunt the halls when the light is out. They suck the blood of the poor and the wipe their mouth. The last gas of a world that is dying out. Welcome to the whitest house, where every room is a tomb that they lie about. Where you can put your filthy feet on the finest couch, and for the right amount.
If that's the essence of your entire political identity, you might be a white supremacist.
Okay, we got a little new intro. You feel me? We got the Farouk disclaimer. You know, the Saeed with the shades disclaimer to protect us, to protect us as an organization.
Hey, what they say? Trust in the law, type your camel.
So, but welcome to another episode of This Week with White Supremacy. I am Jasiri X. I am co-founder and CEO of One Hood Media. To my immediate right or left and top shelf, coming to us from a location undisclosed. Y'all don't need to know. Just know that she's on the show with us right now. Okay.
I'm just here by the grace of God. Just here so I don't get fined. Just ready for this week to be over. But I'm here. Just talk about how white supremacy is just not going away, and Tyler's gonna cry this week. But yeah. What we doing? What's popping? It's Miracle. I'm here.
What's going? What's up?
Happy
Trevor, are you in a different? Oh, you got your little St. Patrick's. Oh, you got your little shamrock on. Oh, and I didn't know. I'm wearing green. I did not know. I just felt like wearing green today, man. That was just my Irish ancestors. You know what I'm saying? Trouble. You look like you're in a different setup. Did you turn your stuff around?
So yeah, I kind of just like pivoted to the other side of my desk, you know what I'm saying?
Got you.
But we over here, we in a new corner for St. Patty's. We trying to light up some shamrock, if you get what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying?
That's your green of choice.
You feel me? Might take a next level smoke, you feel me?
Next level smoke. I got it. I feel you. And Saeed with the shades, man. You in the St. Patrick's Day spirit, bro?
No. Ain't got shit to do with me. I mean, I'm glad they got that day and everything. I've never had a shamrock shake neither, so like,
they're fire.
I was gonna say overrated.
They are overrated, but they are pretty good though.
A mint shake, basically, you think about a mint shake, mint chocolate shake. That's what it is.
I have a problem with like mint and chocolate together. To me, it's just like a whack combination. It's like you might as well just have chocolate toothpaste. Like this shit is disgusting. It's just whack.
I mean, toothpaste is fire sometimes, bro.
Whoa, I'm not gonna lie. Like Andy's chocolate mints, you don't like them?
Shit is whack.
I mean, the goat Miracle, the goat is Thin Mints, like me and Girl Scout cookie lovers everywhere, like Thin Mints. Like how you gonna go wrong with that?
Thin Mints are fire.
Oh yeah, gotta be cold. That is the goat of Girl Scout cookies, man. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'm personally, I'm a Samoa man personally. I like the
Samoas are pretty good.
Also, the trefoils are good too.
I like Dosey-Dos, bro. I'm a peanut butter type guy. You know what I'm
saying? We got into. I know this week of white supremacy. I don't know how we started talking about cookies.
Because girls have this oppressive idea that chocolate and mint don't go together.
No, that's just toothpaste be fire. Trevor, you look like one of them niggas that just eat toothpaste. Like,
I'm not.
Bro, you're just hating, bro.
Toothpaste
you're just
fire
hating because you can't enjoy the same things as me, bro. It's cool.
Man, listen, I don't want to enjoy that. But
blackness is universal. Our experiences are not.
That's what I say.
Clearly a moment.
Yeah, I tell you what, this is how this pertains to white supremacy, because the Girl Scouts have been effectively employing slave labor for I don't know how long to get those Girl Scout cookies out moving at the rate that they do, because it's inhuman how they sell that shit. So that's how we tie that.
Allegedly.
Yes. Allegedly. Right. The views of Farouk against Girl Scout, we talked about that at the top. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, listen.
but no, I think we did talk about that on here one time. They made like $500 million, something crazy. You know what I'm saying? We do need to see our ice. So you know, we kind of thought we was going to come out with a lot of jokes this episode, but once again, I mean, you know, white supremacy has struck again today. Actually, last night, it was a shooting in Georgia. Robert Long, I believe, is this guy's name. You know, he targeted Asian women in the shooting rampage. I believe 8 people are dead because of this. And you know, the response was, you know, I can't even really say interesting. I should say really the response from law enforcement was like really to be expected in a sense. You know, law enforcement came out and said this didn't have anything to do with race, which, you know, to live and breathe as a person of color and particularly in the United States of America, everything to do with race. So for the law enforcement to kind of come out and say this wasn't racially motivated, I think, you know, his victims would beg to disagree. And then kind of basically said, you know, he had a bad day, like kind of, you know, and this is kind of what we see oftentimes when we see white mass shooters, like they're given like space to be human in a sense, when as black victims of police brutality, or even, you know, I haven't heard, and I don't know if this is because of the families, but I haven't heard not one name of any of the victims of this shooting as of yet. And so it is once again kind of this, you know, this whiteness giving cover, whiteness giving protection. You know, I thought the you know, some of the best coverage that I've seen from this was actually The Onion. You know, I don't know if y'all saw some of the Onion headlines, but one of them said like the police understand what it's like to have a bad day and kill 8 people. Like, and so you have, you know, one like a inherently racist and white supremacist institution covering for a white supremacist mass shooter. You know, in my opinion, you know, I know you had a really informed take on this miracle in the pre-production. Can you also talk about kind of like what you see as somebody who, you know, spends a lot of time in Georgia? Can you talk a little bit about what you saw in this?
Yeah, I think for one, the fact that he was taken alive was ridiculous, right? How is this man who's armed and dangerous going to multiple places, who actually is running from the police? So we always hear about a person running away from committing a felony that triggers an armed response from police, but somehow not in the situation. He's able to go from place to place. And this is also happening at a time when police are cracking down on street racing. And so they have thousands of police, all these militarized vehicles, all this type of stuff already being deployed to track down people. This guy gets to be arrested with unarmed. He gets to have these officers basically come out and defend him again, talking about, you know, he just had a fetish. He was upset. You know, he was allegedly an incel, all this BS. And he goes around and gets to murder folks. And then people get to call him a kid. People get to say he was a person who made a mistake. Meanwhile, just a few weeks ago, we were out here calling black and brown folks criminals, saying they were thugs, saying they needed to spend all this time in prison. But here he is, a masked murderer. And somebody, Elena is putting their names in the comments. And I have not looked at the phonetic pronunciations of these names, so I do apologize. But we have Delana, Ashley, Paul, Andre, I think Chow, Yuan, and Duango Thing right now that's in the comments section. And these people who are lives who are mattered, these people who are working, who are going about their days, who didn't deserve to hit this white supremacist violence, and in their death don't deserve to have their death and their lives erased.
No, 100%. And I think you also make a good point. You know, white mass shooters are almost always arrested. You know, here in Pittsburgh, we had one actually target and kill police officers. He was arrested, also alive. Also, you know, we had the Tree of Life massacre. That shooter was also arrested alive. And so you have that situation, despite being armed, despite going to multiple locations. Did you all have any feelings about this, Saeed or Trouble? Just your initial response?
Yeah. It's giving me a lot of flashbacks of Kyle Rittenhouse. The fact that someone can move across state lines or move intra-city and just commit these acts of atrocity, these acts of terror, and just really, just be pretty much commended for it. I'm sure that there's jokes within law enforcement that are just saying like, they're making these charged remarks. I'm certain that we're going to see tweets and everything come out about it. But we can't forget that, just last week, former President Donald Trump made remarks about the China virus, made remarks about Kung flu. So, I'm just waiting for them to say this kid had a manifesto, this man had a manifesto or something like that, or they're going to check his search history and try to link that to like some type of spurt or catalyst for this, this inhumane slaughter of human beings. But unfortunately, man, this is the same shit we've been seeing. Like, Black folks can't walk to get a bite to eat in this fucking country. But if you're white, you can literally just throw on a gun and just walk around to kill people.
True.
Aimlessly and just be fine. And literally be fine. And in some situations, be taken for Burger King.
Right. No, and you make a good point about, because even before this shooting happened today, we had signed on to a letter. What was the name of the organization, Miracle, locally, that put the letter out? If you could pull that up for us, because I know we had a call to action. I think it might have been either the last This Week in White Supremacy or the one before that about stopping Asian hate, standing up for our Asian brothers and sisters. There's been many reports. What, you have the name, Miracle?
Yes, it's the Asian Pacific American Labor Alliance.
Right.
So Pittsburgh chapter, and we'll post that in the chat. But I also want to point out, when this letter went out, people didn't cover it. So the media, the local media, the national media has not actually been covering the way people of color collectively have been coming together and supporting these issues.
Miracle, you said a word that I didn't know, and I think you explained it to me before, but what is an incel? I don't know the word. Like, I don't.
Let me tell y'all what it is. Because I just want y'all to understand how toxic white supremacy is, especially when it comes to women, especially when it comes to women that white men believe, like Pierce, that they have a right to. Incels are a name that people call themselves involuntary celibate. And if you were one of these people who were like, how in 2021 could people not be having sex? Well, here's why. These men have said not only do they deserve to have sex with whatever woman they choose, they deserve to have sex with the top 1% of 1% of women. So whether it's an IG model, a person who has a body that they like, an ethnicity that they like, that they deserve, just by the fact that they are men, just by the fact they just exist, they deserve access to women. And a woman of their choosing, without emotional intelligence, without providing support or love or any type of thing, just by the fact that they are a man, they have the automatic right to a woman's body. And when they don't get it, they believe that they can use violence. They believe that they can use assault. They believe that you should be mandated to marry them. And they have all type of different things where they will literally abuse and manipulate and force women to engage with them. And when they don't get their way, they resort to acts of violence. And this is something that's very, very common, whether it is people who've been outing and doxing sex workers, shutting down people's businesses, getting people's social media and websites closed. These are men who are literally violent in every aspect of their being because they believe they can dominate and subjugate women. It is absolutely disgusting. And I don't want to harm folks, but people need to understand this is going on. So the man who a few years ago shot the LA Fitness The man, a few years, I forgot what the other place. There was another shooting, but these men are actually out here committing acts of harm.
I know the first time, and I'm gonna come to you, Trouble, shortly. I know the first time that I heard of it was actually a guy from Canada that drove his car through a crowd of people, and that was the first time I had heard the term. Because why? But can you talk about? I do want to also touch on the miracle since you're educating us around this, because to the police said about this guy that like he it wasn't racially motivated, that he had a sex addiction. I guess he had a propensity towards Asian women in his sex addiction, and that he saw these places as like tempting himself. But isn't like the fetishization of women from different cultures and race, isn't that also a product of white supremacy? What you say,
it's a product of white supremacy. And when people talking about he was religion, if you were religious, the Lord said if your eye offends you, you cut your own eye out. You don't go and hurt people. So this idea that because he is religious, he was repressed and therefore he had to go and kill folks. No, the Lord said cut your leg off. Yes. You stop yourself from harming other folks. Don't be up here harming women, number one. Number two, this thing that we talk about, yellow bone, red bone, exotic, foreign, it is a tool of white supremacy that literally said that Black and brown women were not women. They were sexual objects for men to do whatever they would to them. That's why when we talk about imperialism and colonialism, we talk about like the raping and the murdering of women that happens every single time there is a war. There is sexual assault. You can look at the comfort women that happened in Asia. You can look at the child brides that is very common. That was talking about ISIS. It always happens. Number 1, 2, and 3. And on top of that, the fact that we're going to say he had a sex addiction, somebody tweet out like he went to the home of the strip clubs, bypassed all of the strip clubs, bypassed all of the places where all the escort services, and went to where he knew Asian women were and shot and murdered them. Right. Hate crimes are when the person who's committing the action is motivated by animus or feelings of beliefs to the people he thinks they have or perceives them to have. This idea that, he killed another client or still he had the intention to harm people of Asian descent. That's what makes it a hate crime. You don't have to hate someone. You have to literally say crime is no longer objective because I am targeting someone because of how I perceive their identity. That's what makes it a hate crime. And the fact that these police officers are like, it was sex, it was porn, it was religion. It's bullshit. It's the fact that you keep coddling these white men so they think that they can run amok. They think they can harass folks. They think that they can spend 4 years on a television program berating a woman who turned them down after one date. This is what we are dealing with. And this is why we keep speaking up so loudly against white supremacy and toxic masculinity, because we deal with this every single day. We have to deal with stuff like this.
Absolutely. No, you're 100% right. Trouble, what are your initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts were towards white people. Honestly, it was basically like, because I know this isn't going to stop. We've started to notice that like they're never going to criminalize white terrorists like they probably should. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to continue to sympathize with their own. And they're going to continue to try to strike empathy. So with that being said, for me, this is an example. It's like, okay, if you can sympathize with someone who has done far worse things than trying to use a fake dollar bill at a store, then you can definitely empathize with the Black and brown people who lose their lives to the police, to people who are supposed to be protecting us. It's like, if you can sympathize with someone who's actually out here murdering people, bro, you could definitely sympathize with us. You could definitely paint us as humans. You could definitely talk about our human track record and not our criminal background, because I don't see this man's criminal background flying all over the internet and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, well, I think just like you said, you see a lot of explanation, but I'm glad you brought up that point, because one of the first articles that I saw that was a response to this was an article by NBC that they tweeted out that said how Black people can be strong allies to Asian Americans right now, and it got a lot of backlash. Number one, I think, like you said, it acts as if there had not been strong allyship between Black and Asian American folks. Like, it hasn't been a history of that. You can go, back in our history where you have had, many examples of allyships between, Black and Asian folks, particularly fighting collectively against white supremacy, against, capitalists, against colonialism. But that was, people felt like, okay, you're asking, like, in this moment, your first thought was to ask Black people to be allies to Asian folks, when it wasn't Black people to kill the Asian. Like it wasn't like how white people can stop white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like how white people could band together to stop white people from just going on killing sprees when they have a bad day. It was kind of putting this, like, another workload on Black people, as if like we're fighting against white supremacy. We're fighting for the liberation. In this moment, we always talk about, like, if we can liberate those most marginalized, the people that have the least amount of access, liberate everybody. And so I just, that was an interesting. Anybody see that article and just have a comment around that ask of Black people to be allies to Asians in this moment, and not like white people to stop white supremacy?
So, I want to first say, like, I'm from Toronto, so there's Asians are actually the largest minority group visible in Canada. I did a lot of work with the Asian Student Association at University of Toronto. And it's very interesting because I've never once had an Asian person come up to me and say, how Black people could be better allies to us? I've never once had anybody from that background say that to me. What's very interesting is anytime the media has this narrative, Black people have to be the fucking mules for the entire country. Black people not only have to be responsible for our own problems, but we have to fix everybody else's issues. And I had to take my sunglasses off for this because I'm in my bag right now. It's not Black people's job to fucking solve racism. It's not, man. We've been shitted on by racism for the past 500 years just in this country. Why don't even talk about how it is represented on a global scale? But just in the States, we've had almost a millennia track record of just being, subhuman. Why is it our fucking job to fix this shit that happened in your house? This is white America, right? America is a Christian nation, right? How come Christian values and white people aren't stepping the fuck up and fixing these things? How come you're not cleaning your own human trash out? How come you're not stopping these incels or whatever the fuck they want to call themselves from massacring human beings, right? But it rests on Black people to fix this shit. Fuck out of here, man. Like, yo, I got enough trouble walking through my own neighborhood or going to Whole Foods without worrying some other shit like this. I got my own shit. As much love and solidarity as I got for the Asian community, I've been doing martial arts for 30 years. I've been very involved in a lot of these cultural exchanges. This has never been a conversation topic. Our enemy is white supremacy. White supremacy bothers and affects every single person on this planet.
Including white people.
Including white people. So for you to hold Black people responsible in a media narrative that how Black people can be better allies or just strong allies or insinuate that we're anything but to the Asian community is not only extremely inflammatory and incendiary, but it's also divisive and submersive into a culture of further denigrating Black people for being responsible for all social ills that happen in this country.
Right. And it is all that. Like, no, you're absolutely right. That divisiveness, like we got to compete now. You know what I'm saying? Now it's like Black Lives Matter versus Asian Lives Matter. No, it ain't. It never was that, and nor should it be that now. You had something, Miracle, that you want to share?
One, I always like to interject. There are always multicultural people, that exist. So Black Asians, Blasians.
Yeah, Naomi, the greatest tennis player in the world right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And so this idea that we have to be in silos erases a lot of people's identities. When we're talking about like white supremacy, this being the anniversary of like the Latasha Harlins, this being a lot of stuff going on, we do have, every ethnic group has issues, right? We're not a monolith. Things are going to happen. But the idea that you try to pit our communities against each other at the end of the day is a divisionary tactic that people have to intentionally push back on. You've seen so many people say, you know what? The response to this crisis is not more police violence and police terror, because we understand that's going to harm Black and brown folks. You see a lot of people say, how can I show up? Let's talk. Let's have these conversations. I know in Oakland, they were talking about doing street walks. So having communities come together to walk the streets, to make sure to walk the elders home. Understanding that, yes, sometimes perpetrators are Black or African-American or other people of color. But when that happens, when you use white supremacist language to actually send dog whistles to white people to say, look at how rabid and violent these Black people are, that's when it becomes a problem. And further than that, when we look at the Chinese Exclusion Act, the Civil Rights Act that basically has told people of Asian descent, you can come to this country if you're the top 5% in your country, but when you get here, we're going to say you can only live in Black neighborhoods. You can only purchase in Black neighborhoods. You can only do business in Black neighborhoods. That creates a resentment. So a lot of things that we are dealing with, and when we talk about white supremacy, it is because we have been forced to literally have these tough conversations, because a lot of people, Asian people and Eastern European people have been told, you know what, you're good enough to come to the country, but you're not good enough to be white or to live in white neighborhoods, but you're just a step above Black people. And those are a lot of the tensions that you are seeing. So if you are not Black, if you're not a person of color, don't be out here trying to throw gas on the fire. Figure out how you can support people and do community justice and restorative justice and transformative justice. Don't be out here trying to pit communities against each other, because we've always, you've had the brown berets, you've had yellow apparel for Black lives, you've had Miss Boggs and a whole bunch of other people. We've always been working together. We've always had, even Pan-African solidarity has been out here fighting against colonialism, imperialism, and South Asian countries. So we've always been in these fights together, and we're not going to let people try to tear us apart now.
Right. And oftentimes, and it's not like white supremacy works. Normally, white supremacists and racists, if they're racist to Black people, they're also racist to, Latinx folks and racist to Asians. And, we kind of saw that, we're seeing that now as people begin to kind of pull these receipts out around Sharon Osbourne, who went viral when, Sharon Osbourne, and, nobody asked her opinion. But Sharon Osbourne felt like she needed to jump to Piers Morgan's defense when, this dude, walked off of his own show and quit his own show because he couldn't come to grips with the fact that, a woman that he had one drink with 4 years ago has stopped talking to him. And so he felt the need to just drag this woman and not believe her and do it in what many felt like was a racist way. Sharon Osbourne broke down and cried and demanded the Black women on the show to educate her.
White tears.
Proof. Right.
White tears, which are violence towards Black people. That that's violent towards Black people, man.
Think about it. To scream at Black people, educate me. And excuse me, but bitch, you 68 years old. We gotta educate you. You fucking lived 68 years of your life, and we gotta educate you. It's mad books. Go pick up one. But to demand, but then when people said, when she wanted to know how she was racist, guess how the internet works? Oh yeah, we got your receipts. And people broke. Yeah, I just want to share the receipts. People talked about her saying Meghan Markle wasn't really Black. People talked about her calling Holly Robinson Pete and another woman on the show ghetto. People pulled out the receipts where she actually was, disrespectful to Asian woman on the show, talking about she had slant eyes and all this and this and that. And so, come to find out that, oh yes, you not only you've been racist, you know what I'm saying, and you've been steeped in your racism and racial analysis, and really, you need to educate yourself. Yeah, her receipt and her daughter's receipts. Yeah, they pulled them all out. Go ahead.
This is how white supremacy works. You have someone who says, I will determine who's Black and who's not. I will determine who's what ethnicity. Then I will also determine how to further racially abuse that person by saying what is and what is not racist. And then I would demand you to educate me about racism that I've already set the parameters for and put in my head on what is and what isn't. But I will still put the burden of proof upon a black person, a black woman, most of all, to educate me as a white person, and then use my white tears as a defense mechanism to alleviate myself from all of that harassment that I just placed upon the rest of the world.
She literally says to the black woman, like, don't you cry. Like, don't you start crying. I'm the one that should be crying. I'm the one who's being attacked. She called herself a sacrificial lamb as if anybody, didn't no one tell you to open your damn mouth? Mm-hmm. No one told you to defend.
Nobody asked you, Sharon. Like, no one asked you at all.
Miracle, did you have a comment on this or Trouble?
I definitely got a comment on this, bro. This is some British shit. If I haven't seen it, bro, like,
this is British solidarity.
I'm starting to peep. They don't even know what racism is over there, bro.
Allow it.
Like, and we see it with Sharon Osbourne. It's like we're starting to see that, like, they're finally starting to realize, no, racism is not just an American thing. You can 100%. Be British and racist. You know what I'm saying? And then we see racist. Yes, and been racist, and we see it in all of those microaggressions.
Countries, yeah, you can colonize them. Your history, bears witness that. But I'm sorry, you were saying Trouble?
Oh no, I was just saying, well, all of those microaggressions, her like basically shifting, blame, like, I'm the victim, I should be the one crying. Her screaming at her, saying, "Educate me." It's like, bro, all she was missing was a whip.
Yeah, I like this now that Sharon or the British Karen, a British Karen is.
Listen. As a citizen of the Crown, I'm not going to stand for all the slander against the UK and against Canada.
See, that's the internalized anti-blackness. No, listen. That's why you gotta read from Niggas to God's book 2. One and 2.
Hey, listen, I'm writing volume 3. Let me say this. A man like Get said this. Don't tell me to go back where I came from when the Queen sits there and stolen jewels. Right? The whole crown is placed upon imperialism, is based upon it. It's subjugating the entire brown, the global brown population. So,
from Africa and India. We talked about that. And before I go to you, Miracle, you do bring up a good point about the British racism, because when people came at the media for how they handled the situation with Meghan and Harry, how it was, they came out and said, oh, absolutely, it was a society of editors in Britain that said the media isn't racist at all. And then that guy had to resign, and then they had to say, oh, no, actually, because once again, people came with receipts and said, well, all during this uprising in the summertime, they had one single black person that they quoted on their front page throughout the entire uprising. So, they are being called to task for it, and that is good. You know what I'm saying? But I like that. Sharon's in England is Sharon's, in America's Karen's. Did you have a comment on your girl, Sharon Osbourne, Miracle?
Yes. Because, Sharon is trying to escape her accountability. And this is what I want to say. At worst,
100%.
Piers Morgan is a raging racist. At best, he is a misogynistic asshole who spent 4+ years harassing a woman because she didn't want to go on a second date with him while he was also married. So at the end of the day, if this is the person you are going to throw your career away for, I also want to talk about, can we have a conversation about this white man who set the narrative about Meghan Markle? But not only did he set the narrative, he created the narrative that the rest of the British press picked up. And in the age of Me Too, what does that send to Black and brown women, Black and brown journalists, Black and brown artists who are breaking into the industry, and they're being told that if you do not go on dates with these white men in power, we are going to harass you for years on end. And when it gets revealed that we're going to then double down and say you deserved it because you didn't let us date you and have access to you. Again, with these incels, I just want to take a moment to stream all this stuff along. as women, you are damned if you do, damned if you do not. When you 100%. Deal with these fuck ass men, and it's absolutely ridiculous that she's talking about. I was set up. He's 4 years, not for 6 months, not for 1 or 2 shows, for 4 years, and in tweets, and in interviews, and in articles. Maybe Britain has a hard time of letting go. Maybe it's all the beans and mash. It's just not a diet that allows them to focus and process things. Maybe they need mental health support. I do not know. But listen, Farouk, let Farouk, somebody say Farouk harassed me for 3 weeks. I'm like, oh shit, that's fucked up. I can't believe my twin did that. I'm sorry you're going through that. That's what I would have said. What I wouldn't have done is been like, how? Tell me, with tears and yelling. Unprofessional again, bitch. Your friends are racist. He don't like black and brown folks. Hello.
I was gonna say, Miracle. Maybe Pierce has an undiagnosed a diabetes.
Maybe his blood sugar was high, and he was acting irrationally.
But no, you do make, the correlation between this guy, like you said, Piers Morgan. The fact that not only for 4 years did he harass this woman, and when it finally came to him, he couldn't handle 1 day. 1 day he walked off and quit the job. It just shows you how, when they talk about snowflakes and they talk about cancel culture and all of this, like as soon as it applies to them, they run. But not the blood sugar, right? Because we do, and this is what's wild to me about like this idea, white people can never be racist, and I wish that, and what we're talking about for the blood sugar, for those that don't know, it was a girls' basketball game. And of course, when you talk about who has been at the forefront of the issues of racial justice and solidarity in sports, it's been black women by far. There's not even close. And so this black girls' basketball team, who is undefeated in the best, all kneeled down at the national anthem. And one of the announcers' microphone was left on. And what did he call them? He called them niggers. Of course he did. He called them niggas. It was called on tape.
Flashbacks, man. Flashbacks.
Right. The tape was shared, and instead of just coming out and saying, "Well, look," like, and I saw them kneeling. I was mad. I called them niggas. I use that. It's racist. I'm sorry. I'm racist. He actually tried to explain. Oh, they ended up winning the state. Yeah, They won the state championship. Blah 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 blah. But he actually said that it was his diabetes. Like, he actually blamed calling these black women niggers on the fact that his blood sugar was high.
See, and you know what? That's I bet you he's eating Papa John's pizza because Papa John's known for sweet sauce. That's why. That's Papa John's put too much sugar in his sauce.
They put too much nigga in their sauce, bro.
Put too much nigga in their sauce.
They've been trying to get it out for 20 months, bro.
Real ingredients, real niggas. Papa John. You know what I mean?
But it's just wild to me. Like, even when you catch white people saying nigger, like it's always, I'm a family man. I got diabetes. I got diabetes. I'm sorry.
It's not like he said, I have cancer and I just wanted to get this out of my system before I go. He's like, nah, I got diabetes. I got the sugars. Like,
that doesn't excuse racism, bro. Like,
he got the brown sugars.
His brown sugars were a little too high that day.
Again.
I'm funny.
You know what? You have a wife and kids. You can still be racist. Are you being racist? Mm-hmm. Like I said before, that is like saying Joe is not a serial killer because Joe hasn't killed me yet. Just because someone is not racist towards you or abusive towards you does not mean they are not racist and abusive towards other folks. And what y'all need to do, and we've done it as a collective and individually, is when people come to you like, God damn it, why did Joe do this shit? And then you go and talk to Joe, and then you go and say, I'm sorry you're going through this harm, What do you need to do to be supported? And then you go and you work with Joe to make sure you don't do fuck shit and no more, and tell Joe to stop embarrassing you in front of all the mixed company. It's not that hard.
Put him on that 20-month Papa John's diet. Put him on that 20-month, eliminate the N-word from your diet. You know what I'm saying? Or, you had also mentioned
that might be why he has diabetes.
He could maybe pack a Snickers for every,
Yes, apparently Snickers is the way to get rid of white supremacy. Who knew? But what was it? The BTS killer? Remember the story? And he was like a married man, a married family man, but has been like 2 decades killing and torturing folks. Yep. So what? You're a family man. So what? You're a cook. So what? You're a good person. Like, you can still do fuck shit. And I'm sorry for cussing y'all. It's a lot. But like, I hate the fact that this idea that we've created people on good and bad, and we forget, like, y'all love Obama, but he was a war criminal. Like, y'all, people do dumb stuff, but can still be good people to others. Like, let's get some duality, some nuance in our.
But I guess I just would rather have a white person just say, "Hey, I'm racist." I mean, I would just rather you just come out and be like. Just keep it real. Yeah, you know what? Mm-hmm. I was mad. I said, nigga, it was wrong. It's racist. I know. I say racist things. Like, I mean, just admit, like, if people are hearing you say the word nigga, like, you're racist. Oh, you eating Papa John's? Damn.
Go to hell, Woogie. We're not gonna glorify them wasteman things on my show. Fuck out of here, nigga. Dash that shit away. Hilarious. I'll send you a voucher.
Don't start randomly saying the N-word. So yeah, I mean, this show kind of flew by. Of course, it's mad. I mean,
I said, hold on. Let me say something real quick, please. I'm sorry. I have to say there's so many episodes in so many weeks. This show writes itself. We're not picking on white people. This is literally the news.
This is the news.
This is what's happening in the world around us. Right.
Yes.
And we gotta laugh to keep from crying sometimes, man, because the fact of the matter is, we started off chatting about Girl Scout cookies, and that's all well and good, right? We all like our different Girl Scout treats, apparently. But some deranged white man who's having the media take his side went and killed 8 people because, for whatever fucking reason, we know it's racism, we know it's white supremacy. But here we are on another Wednesday night, right? Almost a year in. Chatting about this shit, giving you an alternative stream of some real shit right now. Some real niggas talking about real shit with real ingredients. Right. And it happens every week. Every week it happens. We don't make this up.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, I mean, you had a LA detective caught on tape saying to a young black child, go back to your little cage, you little monkey. After calling them multiple niggas, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you had
they tried to say he said it first. They said it after him.
Right. You had a school in Western Pennsylvania say, "Hey, we have this assignment. How many slaves can you pack in a slave ship? Would you do a loose pack, slave pack, or would you do a tight pack?" I mean, like that happened like right when we went off the air. Like literally, like we went off the air, and right after that, it was like, oh, by the way, here's some racism. Like it's almost like we got to come back on. Like, oh, by the way, there was 10 articles that we had. Right, it was some elementary school in North Carolina that had their students doing pro-slavery tweets. Like, tweet as if you were on the side of the Civil War that wanted slaves, and what would they say? And so, like, these are all the stories that we can't even end up getting to. Just by dealing with these broader issues, let alone the fact that, you finally catch these 2 white guys that actually killed a police officer at the Capitol riots, and that's not even that big of a news. And not only that, the same, like almost like the same day and time where we find out these 2 white guys, one from Pennsylvania, you know what I'm saying,
Shocker.
One from West Virginia,
spoiler alert,
right, killed this a cop. You had a sitting senator from Wisconsin basically say that he wasn't afraid of the January 6th Capitol riot because these were people that love their country. That he would have been afraid if it was Black Lives Matter. He would have been afraid if it was them. But yet Go tell that to this cop's wife and family. Go tell it to the other, 30 or 40 police officers who are also injured in that scene. Go tell them. Tell it to the
Blue
people
Lives Matter.
I thought Blue Lives Matter, right? So you might not have been afraid, Ron Johnson from Wisconsin, but a man lost his life. A cop lost his life trying to protect the Capitol. And he wasn't killed by black people. He wasn't killed by Antifa. That's not even an organization. He was killed by your supporters. He was killed by Trump supporters. He was killed by white supremacist terrorists. You know what I'm saying? So we can't even, just like you said, so like you said, the show wipes itself, but this is really a call to action to deal, like if we don't deal with this for real, you know what I'm saying? To let you know, because then it's just really a matter of time before some other white supremacist terrorist goes out there and does some other fuck shit like what happened last night. You know what I'm saying? It's just a matter of time.
You've seen how deep, and I said this before, how deep the rabbit hole went with the Capitol insurrection, because it wasn't just your garden variety, white supremacist that does the Hail Hitler salute, or, your stereotypical one. It was teachers, it was educators, it was law enforcement, it was lawyers, it was real estate agents, it was your aunt, it was your mom, it was your dad, it was congressmen, it was FBI,
But ironically, Farouk, that you say that, is that there was actually a guy from the Navy who, like, the nigga was walking around with a Hitler mustache. Like, this dude was known to the Navy as a white supremacist sympathizer, could walk around with a Hitler mustache. By the way, and that
was just his thing.
That was his thing.
They just talked about it like it was just something he does. You know what I'm saying?
But does anybody remember Michael Jordan had that shit in the Hanes commercials?
Yeah, I mean, and I have a whole. I don't know if we have enough time for Michael Jordan and his dad pants and his Hitler mustache. I mean, Mike's a wild. I mean, he's trying to get better. He's trying to do more now. But yeah, Mike's a wild dude. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I mean, just for you to say
Republicans buy shoes too.
You just had a person, a congressperson, just walk past the lobby, I guess, where the Congress is, and somebody had the Protocols of Zion, one of the oldest anti-Semitic texts, just laying around, and he had like his own copy. It had like the little, he had it stapled together, and he had his own little marks on it. Like, and just think about how crazy the time we are right now, and like, oh yeah, well, he's suspended. So just like you said, yeah, it wasn't just your garden variety white supremacy, but guess what? The dude from the Navy that always walked around with a Hitler mustache, guess where he was January 6th? Not hard to believe. He was trying to run up in the Capitol. You know what I'm
saying? It's 2021. We were supposed to have flying cars. We were supposed to have touch screen everything. I mean, we mostly do. We were supposed to have, like, it's supposed to be like the Fifth Element out here, something like that.
Bro, white supremacy is holding us back, man.
Hey,
that's why the aliens have come to Earth, man. That's why the aliens have come here.
Check this out. This guy,
that's arguable. That's arguable, but that's another topic.
The Navy Hitler mustache guy, they said he made near daily comments against Jews. Like, this is what we're talking about in Miracle.
you gotta respect. You gotta at least respect that. Like, he's
no respect.
Well, there is no garden variety white supremacist. It's like they're just your regular everyday person. And this idea, if you see his photo and somebody was like, couldn't be him. I think
he look like Elon Musk, man. He look like Elon Musk.
How could someone be more unabashedly anti-Semitic? Meanwhile, we walk around here scared to carry the autobiography of Malcolm X for fear that people are going to think we're radical, and these motherfuckers 100%. Are going to work with their radical
mustache, and he was, I guess his diabetes is on 10, but every day. And this is what I'm saying. But just like you said at the top, and I thought you laid it out so perfectly, Miracle, it's accepted. Like his white supremacist mustache and everyday anti-Semitism was tolerated. Like no, like it wasn't like somebody said, "Yo, he gotta go." Like this. Wait, what you looking at? No, you gotta go. Like those are. But just like you said, now if I'm black and I leave my copy of autobiography of Malcolm X, I leave my Asada autobiography. Now I'm radical. You know what I'm saying? Now I got to go. Now I got to get fired from my job.
Tell me why I was working at Starbucks reading the Asada autobiography. Some white guy comes up, tries to start a nice, peaceful conversation. Oh, what you reading? I'm like, I'm reading Asada. He's like, Asada? I'm like, yeah, Shakur. He's like, the cop killer? I'm like, you obviously don't know anything. And you should pick up this book.
Absolutely.
That's why I tell people I can't read.
Saying?
It just makes my life so much easier.
They try to read to you, so.
I guess did we want to talk about are we I don't know, did we trade Stacey Dash? Is she like on waivers?
No,
do we want her to come back?
She stays where she's at. Her and Omarosa and Diamond and Silk and Broker, they stay where they at.
Broker.
Like Harriet has told y'all to leave these Negroes behind.
Cubic zirconium and felt is just
that's disrespectful. Cubic zirconia. Meanwhile, don't get caught lacking in Atlanta because they will walk up to you and test your shit. So
they will. Get
some copper. Get some jewel tones.
But
diamonds if you can.
I would say, go ahead.
Did Dame ever say anything about Stacey publicly?
I don't. Is that his cousin or something?
They're first cousins. They got their parents.
I think he said she was going through some stuff, but he was going through some stuff too. So what you gonna
do? And this is the thing, like Stacey, like nobody ever woke up and said, man, you know whose political opinion I would really like in this day and time?
I wonder what Dion from Clueless is thinking right now. Like,
what is Stacey doing? Like, she willingly gave her opinion. She willingly went out there and tried to cape for Trump. She tried to run for whatever office as a Republican. That failed. And now when you can't get a job, no one wants to hire you because who wants to see you in a movie now? Who wants to support you because of your rhetoric? Now you want to come back and, I'm sorry. I was angry. I apologize. Like, nah, you good. Like, yo, go.
Newsmax is always hiring. They put anybody on their show.
Newsmax always hiring. Yep.
Gina Carano is going to be okay. Her and Stacey Dash should have a podcast together. Now, I'm telling you what. They should. I would listen to that because Stacey Dash.
Of course she would.
Because it would be it. I want to hear.
This is why we can't get free. This is why we can't get free right here. This is why we can't get free. First you were repping the Queen. Now you're trying to go for Stacey Dash. Weakest links.
Listen, we let you be from Atlanta and let you be great with that. Okay, you can't help you from the South. We let that go.
First of all, we hate on the South. Number one, the South
twins are beefing, not the twins.
Right,
not the twins.
And then there's black and then there's bright. First of all, why would you listen to them heifers?
Because I like comedy. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
give it a year. Yeah. Give it a year. He's like some twins who started off doing fitness and all of a sudden
the high twins.
Give it a year. Give it a year.
He's gonna be doing his Make America.
Just like man. Yo,
Saeed with the supremacists.
He's gonna be like Thomas Sowell. Have you heard of him?
Who? Who's Thomas Sowell?
It's this black Republican guy.
Yeah, it's a black
Republican.
He says terrible. What's the?
He's gonna be like Ben Carson did his best.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You said that?
Give it a year. I'm talking about you. Give it a year. Farouk is gonna be a black Republican. Give it a year.
Listen, I just voted for the first time after 35 years. You know how long it would take me to?
That is true.
Like, come on.
So it is. So it's that I guess I don't know. We had a Karen of the week, but I don't. It was some white lady who didn't wear a mask and she got thrown on the ground and handcuffed. We don't have to show it. You know what I'm saying? I
never get tired of seeing white people get beat up by police.
I mean, if you have it queued up, John, if you want to show this white lady who
donate to One Hood Media because nobody's gonna fund this anymore.
Yeah. But we do. Let's just go right to the white pages. Let's go right to. Are we gonna show this lady getting thrown on the ground?
I need a laugh.
Yeah, you have it. We might as well. All right, let's show this. Like she's in the bank. She don't have a mask. She don't want to put a mask on, and This is what happens.
This is not a public place. This is a private business. No, you're not. We're going to go outside.
Are you serious?
The indignation, the entitlement.
Well, I don't know, because
let's go walk outside.
You've got some issues.
I've got issues.
That you're
the entitlement.
Let's go outside.
Shoot me, people. He's going to shoot me for trying.
He's going to shoot me. What?
Come on, dude.
But just like you said, the indignation, like I don't have to bow down. I don't have to do anything.
Back up. Some old lady is getting handcuffed here.
But the fact is, he going to shoot me? Me again. These folks know how black and brown people are treated.
Yeah, you know.
Yep, exactly. You gonna treat me like I'm a black person? It should have tased her.
Yeah. I mean, but that's not what it is.
State violence is not justified.
If you want to go watch the whole clip, it is pretty funny, especially when she cries out police brutality and everybody watches this. No, it's not. You should have just took your ass out the 500 times he done asked you. That ain't police brutality. But just like you had made a great point, Miracle. You was gonna say?
I was gonna say, I'm not racist, right? And I do try to understand and to learn and to engage. But we all have our biases and shit. And the whole purpose of this stuff isn't to pretend like you're perfect. It's to be like, you know what? Let me figure out how I can be better today than I was tomorrow. Let me figure out how I can make even tomorrow better. So when you recognize dumb shit in your life, and when you recognize your friends are doing dumb shit, just call it out. Just fix it. Just stop doing it. At the end of the day, whether it's the lady who was murdered by the officer, I believe her name was Sarah, I can't remember, by the officer in England, or the 6 women who were murdered yesterday. We have a serious problem with the way men of all ethnicities treat and value women. And so what we really need is for men to talk to other men. Y'all need to, I don't know, you do men's circles, your secret men meetings. I don't know if y'all need to cry together, go biking, something. The violence
can we get
to stop.
Can we get Kenneth Samuels to lead a couple of those conversations?
First of all, what is the high value man?
That's the one nigga.
A high value woman. When he told that man,
what is your rating? What is it? Yo, you be no.
First of all, y'all let that man tear y'all up. Knowing, first of all, it's y'all's fault for being on that show. Because every time he goes off on people, it's because you don't listen. You call in on the wrong days and the wrong time, and you ask dumbass questions. If a man says, "I don't like you because you're fat," why are you gonna go in there and be like, "I'm fat but I'm beautiful"? He gonna say, "I don't like you. You're fat." Like, I don't understand why y'all even call this man. You like being embarrassed.
Don't call that
Maybe y'all have a kink fetish, and you need to talk about that with your therapist, because
we're not gonna kink shame. We're not gonna kink shame.
I'm not kink shaming, but I think people really need to talk to their sexual. Hold on. I even need to go to sex therapy and talk to their sex therapist, because something is not clicking if a person says only call me on Tuesdays and y'all call him on Wednesdays and get disrespected. Like, I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. So that's what I'm saying. People need to do better, because it's giving people have issues.
Well, you turned me on to him, Miracle. You showed us the clip.
Oh yeah.
And I went on YouTube and I was mesmerized for 2 straight hours.
It's all Miracle.
I had someone send them to me. I had someone send me a video of it. I was watching in disbelief. And I said it, I was like, Miracle, have you ever seen this nigga? She was like, listen. I was like, oh, I know Miracle got orders. Okay. I know Miracle got orders.
But not to affirmative consent and make sure people are adults.
Absolutely. And just to say your point,
things cannot get consent.
But you're 100% right. Yeah. I just wanted to say, affirm your point. Men got to talk to men, about the treatment of women, and men got to hold men accountable. You know what I'm saying? Start with your friends, start with the people that are close to you. We can't go out like the Navy, where you hear some dude, he walking around with a Hitler mustache, and no one's gonna say something. No one's gonna put this dude aside and be like, "No, you get this. Come on, man, it's 2021. Kill this." No,
it starts in my cipher. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're hitting my blunt, you're going to hear some real shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're in my circle and you're doing some fuck shit, we definitely have to talk about it before we part ways again. You know what I'm saying?
I said in a rap, don't let the first black woman you cherish be your daughter.
Yeah.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Also, black women, you shoot niggas back. Shoot
Bust
these
back,
motherfuckers
shit
back.
like that.
Bust back.
I mean, I'm
At
not.
the end
Yeah,
of the
man.
day,
Shoot them
listen,
niggas in the
if they
stomach,
don't
man.
respect you, they
That
gonna
hurt.
respect that 45 at the end of the day.
Ooh.
So
I'll hit you.
I just want my sisters to defend themselves.
No,
Because at
you're
the end of the
absolutely right.
day, if you're being out here targeted, defend yourself. If nobody's going to fight for you, you have to fight for yourself. That's what I'm
100%.
saying. No violence. Love everybody. I love you all.
Yep.
Black men, kings, grand risings, all that.
Yeah, I'll tell you offline who that is, Cheryl. I don't know if we want to necessarily give him props.
Kevin Samuels, he's hilarious. Go watch
Samuels.
him.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
not
but you
him,
will
it's his dumbass audience.
You'll go on YouTube and you will spend about 2 hours because I was amazed. And our book, our white pages. Yeah, he said some white pages. Our white pages is also some Black Asian solidarity. The book Can't Stop, Won't Stop was, one of the definitive books about hip hop history. They're releasing a young adult edition. My brother Jeff Chang, along with, a longtime good friend of mine, Davey D. This is Can't Stop, Won't Stop, the young adult edition. Jeff Chang and Davey D. So just, continuing that Black Asian solidarity, definitely support. Get this book as well. Somebody, but after this, go check some Kevin Samuel. You're gonna be entertained. And then
he's
what is our call to action?
And a little problematic, but watch at your own risk. I didn't send you over there.
I mean, this show is problematic too, but here we are.
I mean, well,
I just want to give people a warning before I get cussed out.
That's why we got the disclaimer. For so did you have a call to action, Miracle?
Yes. Sorry. Yes, I did. One call to action is to sign the letter, the support letter. Go to Stop Asian Hate on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and they have a website so that you can get involved to show up for the communities. Check your friends, check yourself, check your privileges, and your biases. Also, today is Wednesday. Tomorrow at noon on Tilt, we have Mama Brown and our therapist, Mr. Boatwright, are talking to the amazing Fawn Walker Montgomery, talking about how trauma has encouraged and fueled her activism, but how she's been able to take rest and support herself. Do we have Black Light this week? That was last week.
We have Ask a Black Doctor tomorrow. Ask a Black Doctor tomorrow night. We're talking 1 year of COVID. Where do we go from here? Is there a light at the end of the tunnel? So tune in to Ask a Black Doctor tomorrow. Also, we do want to shout out Mama Brown. She ended her hunger fast on her 50th birthday. I want to say that was last Friday. That was last Thursday. So we do want to say shout out to her. We're glad that she, she went to the edge, but she has a lot of work to do. She's launching the Marcus Jalen Brown Foundation. So definitely ask folks to support her and her work as well. We could go a whole another hour because we didn't even get into the activist conference. I mean, it's so much. But I guess that was God telling us maybe we should Oh yes, I'll be speaking thanks to my brother Cruz. I'll be speaking at Virginia Tech via Zoom March 23rd. So thank you, Cruz, for hooking that up. I'm excited to speak to your students about activism. Dr. Russell said, call your county counselor to reject Fitzgerald's veto of paid sick time. That was, some political stuff that's happening here locally. So definitely call your county counselor. And then we're also doing a coalition event tomorrow with One Hood Power, Alliance Police Accountability, Straight Ahead, and Unite. around introducing a slate of judges. That'll be tomorrow as well. Miracle will be there dropping some fire with One Hood. So it's a lot happening. Stay connected with us. Stay tuned. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Any last words, final comments? Miracle?
Treble, Next Level Slam. You looking for artists?
Yes. We're looking for participants for the next level slam. I need about like 5 more. If you are a poet and would like a chance to win some money, holla at me. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Next level slam. And yeah, so I think that's it. We will see y'all next week. Until then, I did want to say real quick, we do have we're on Instagram. If you look for This Week in White Supremacy on Instagram, we're posting a lot of the stories. We don't get to all of the stories, so we're posting that. So shout out to Mia. So if you, I guess, I don't know if you will want more white supremacy, but if you want to see evidence of what we have to fight against, it's all at This Week in White Supremacy on Instagram. Follow it, and yeah, you'll find out more about what's going on. Till the next time, y'all. Peace.
Welcome to the whitest house. Slave souls haunt the halls when the light is out. They suck the blood of the poor and the wipe their mouth. The last gas of a world that is dying out. Welcome to the whitest house, where every room is a tomb that they lie about. Where you can put your filthy feet on the finest couch, and for the right amount, you can even buy it.